Hello, I'm Dr. Alicia Power.
And I'm Dr. Maria Kang, and welcome to Growing Healthy,
a podcast about pregnancy, pediatrics, and beyond. Welcome to Growing Healthy. Today, we are lucky enough to have Laura Warren from Vita Doulas on the show to tell us about what a doula is and what they can offer to your pregnancy, delivery, and postpartum experience. We'll get to that just after this little reminder.
The Growing Healthy podcast and website is meant for general medical information only. This does not apply to every situation, and should you have questions or if you have received different advice, please contact your healthcare provider.
The views expressed by Growing Healthy and our guests are not representative of any institution with which you are affiliated.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Well, the reason we invited you on the show is because we got this lovely letter from a woman in Victoria, and I'll read that out, and then we'll kind of get started, if that's okay with you.
Sounds good.
All right, so here's the letter. Dr. Kang and Dr. Power. My friend was talking about having a doula at her birth. I have no idea what a role a doula would play. I worry my husband would find it weird having a stranger at the delivery. Could you tell me more about doulas? So that was from Christine in Victoria. So Christine, thank you for your letter. We really appreciate hearing from our listeners. Laura, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been a doula for almost 20 years. I'm also a childbirth educator and a breastfeeding counselor. But most importantly, I'm the mother of 3 amazing young women and grandmother to 4 incredible boys.
I don't believe it. You don't look a day over 30.
I'll keep that.
So, for people who don't know what a doula is, can you give us kind of a quick rundown of what a doula does and what you feel your role is?
Well, a birth doula is a person trained to provide continuous physical, emotional, and educational support to women before, during, and immediately after childbirth. That's what I do. A birth doula meets with the clients once or twice before the birth to discuss options and wishes for their birth. The doula will join the couple at home or hospital when they need her. She will also help with comfort measures and reassurance throughout. She will remain with them throughout their labor and 1 to 2 hours after the birth to assist with breastfeeding. The doula is the one constant presence for a woman in labor. I think that's what they need to understand. Nurses will change shifts. Doctors will change shifts as well. Sometimes midwives will leave them for periods of time, but the doula will stay with them. Most doulas will do 1 to 2 prenatal visits. By having a doula, the partner is able to participate at his comfort level, and most actually feel more confident to participate, knowing that there is someone experienced to offer suggestions.
So part of your role is you see to help partners better support their wives, girlfriends,
Absolutely.
baby mamas during that experience.
Absolutely. Our job is not to replace the partner. Our job is to enhance their birth experience. Rather than having them as a coach, we kind of show them, tell them, teach them what women need at that moment. And this is why I always say that most of the time they feel a lot more confident. We give them that confidence to do what women need rather than feel the pressure of having to perform some task that they've never done before.
And I think that's great because oftentimes I find that men or women partners in the delivery room, they're seeing their wives or their special someones going through what is a very challenging time in life. There's often quite a bit of discomfort and pain involved, and those partners really don't know how to best help their loved one. And so I think it's really great that you're able to offer that support and guide them and give them suggestions, because oftentimes once they have those suggestions, they can really take that on and feel like they're a huge part of that experience.
They acquire the confidence, they acquire the peace of mind that there's nothing that they can do right or wrong. They're just being guided by us. And sometimes I tell them, how hands-on do you want to be? So if they say, I want to do it all, then I go, okay, then my job is to teach you to be the best doula possible.
Fabulous. So, as you know, we're trying to be evidence-based in our podcasts. Have there been many studies looking at the benefits of having a doula at your birth?
Yes, there have. And actually in 2010, Dr. Amy Gilliland did a study about effective labor support where she theorized that doulas are effective because of the attachment that clients form with their doulas. This attachment creates trust and helps in the release of oxytocin, which of course promotes labor contractions. And in 2017, Boren et al. Published the updated Cochrane Review on the use of labor support. Here they found that overall, people who received continuous labor support from a doula were more likely to have spontaneous vaginal births and less likely to have any medication, epidurals, negative feelings about childbirth, vacuum or forceps-assisted births, and cesareans. But in my opinion, though, the most important and effective role of the doula is to help a couple achieve the most positive birth experience possible, regardless of how they give birth. And we do that by making sure that they exercise informed consent every step of the way, that they feel nurtured, and that they are treated with utmost respect.
I agree with you. I think it's very important that women recognize the fact that not all births happen the same. And as care providers, we feel our role is to help women and their partners have a healthy and safe delivery for both them and their babies. But sometimes that doesn't go as they had planned. So I think it's really important that they have somebody in their corner to guide them through that and to help them recognize and sometimes reshift their priorities during labor and delivery.
Absolutely.
So in terms of formal training and licensing of doulas, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Most doulas in Victoria do their training through Doula International, which is the largest certifying organization.
And when would a client hire a doula?
Clients hire a doula at different times. Most do, sometimes during the second trimester, but I've been hired as soon as they find out that they are expecting. And I was once hired at 10 days post-dates. Not that I would recommend that.
You mean the woman was still pregnant but overdue?
Yes. They were talking induction, so she said, I think I better get a doula. My recommendation is that a couple start their search early on to make sure that they get the doula that they want.
And how can people find a doula? Are there any resources in town that might aid them? Is there a website or somewhere they can go to find out who the doulas are and maybe lead them down the path on how to choose one?
Definitely. There's a website, Doulas of Victoria, that will is connected to Doula Match. I honestly don't know exactly how it works, but you enter your due date, you enter your postal code, and it will give you a series of names of doulas that are available for that due date.
Great. So we'll put that on our show notes. I also know that we have a link on our website, www.growhealth.ca, to Vita doulas, but we'll also put a link for your group of doulas on our website as well, so people can access that if they would like.
That's great. Thank you very much.
So another question that people often, after they find out what a doula is and how a doula can help them during the labor and delivery and postpartum process, they're curious about the costs of a doula. So I know that this is a privately funded
Yes, it is.
issue. Would you mind telling us a little bit about the cost of a doula and if there's any programs out there that you know of that might be able to help people who cannot afford a doula?
Yeah. Well, the cost of a doula varies greatly, and I think it's totally dependent on the level of experience of the doula, how long she's been doing this for, and we really would like to think that there is a doula for everyone. Some doulas work on a sliding scale, and others, like my group, who charge the same fee but are happy to arrange a payment plan if it makes it easier for people. Roughly, I would say that the doula fees range between $400 and $1,000. The local doula trainer in town keeps a list of doulas interested in attending births to get experience. But in order to do that, they require a referral from their care provider, I believe, and the cost is on a sliding scale.
Great. So are you kind of talking about new doulas out there who are looking to kind of gain a little bit more experience?
Exactly. They need a certain number of births attended in order to be able to certify with DONA, so most of them are looking for that.
But they've already gone through their training process.
They've gone through their training process. They just need experience.
Fabulous. So most people who would be interested in having a doula would most likely be able to access one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. All right. So you work as a doula with Vita Doulas, which is a fabulous group of women, and we love working with them. Can you tell us a little bit of why you formed a group as opposed to just being doulas on your own?
Really good question. We decided to form Vita because we wanted to make sure that we had backups who had similar levels of experience and commitment to the profession. We wanted to make sure our clients would receive same level of care if their primary doula couldn't be with them. So the thing here is you hire a doula, the doula that you've interviewed, that you meet with, and there's sometimes a small chance that we happen to be at another birth or something else in life comes up, and therefore we require a backup, and we wanted to do that. Vita is Jay Duncan, Ashley Brillanti, Barb Frameni, and I. And besides being birth doulas, Barb is also a postpartum doula. I'm a breastfeeding counselor, and Ashley has a birth pool rental business for those who choose home birth.
Can you tell me a little bit more about a postpartum doula and what that role might be?
That's an awesome question. A postpartum doula basically starts after the birth doula ends most of the time. A birth doula will see a client probably up to 2 weeks postpartum. And then, a postpartum doula will help a mom who is struggling with whether it's postpartum depression or just simply managing the day-to-day care of a newborn baby. So a postpartum doula is usually has some breastfeeding training, so she's able to help that mom with breastfeeding. But she'll also help by looking after this baby so that mom can get some sleep, shower, look after herself a little bit more. And I do believe postpartum doulas also help with a bit of house cleaning and meal preparation and all of that. So, I always say to moms, if they don't have any family members in town to help out, it's a really good investment. Most postpartum doulas, I believe, charge $20 to $25 an hour if it's during the day. If you want overnight support, it's probably going to be more, but they stay with you overnight.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
Wish I'd known about that. So other than your regular doula roles, are there any other services that you provide to the community?
Well, as I said, Barbie's a postpartum doula as well, and I'm a breastfeeding counselor, so I do get quite a few calls, a month where women just need that extra help with breastfeeding. And I always tell them, that we have great resources as far as, the health system is concerned. But I always say when that ends, a breastfeeding counselor will come to your house at 8 o'clock at night if you're desperate. I do make, phone calls. I call people at 10:30 at night when they're crying out for help.
I know you also run great prenatal courses that I often recommend to my patients. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, and we always are so appreciative of Grow Health as referring so many people to our classes. And again, Jay and I are childbirth educators with years of experience. When we started Vita, I created the 60-40 class, which is a quaint small group class that is 60% childbirth preparation and 40% newborn care. We're the only ones that have that, spend that much time with newborn care. We teach them how to bathe, diaper. We set up bathtubs, and we actually teach the dads to do all the baby care, which is a great thing. And people don't always like large groups, so my class takes a maximum of 4 couples. I love dialogue. That's how I feel people learn best. And we have great discussions about childbirth. We try and teach them everything that they want to know, not necessarily everything that we as instructors know.
That's fabulous. And I really like the part that the newborn care that you incorporate, because I think a lot of people focus on the delivery, but really the hardest part is when you get home with that sweet little baby and you have no idea what to do with it.
I always tell them childbirth is 24 hours of your life. Having a baby is the rest of your life. So, yeah, absolutely. Very important.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Laura. I think that will give everybody a much better idea of kind of the role doulas can play before labor and delivery, during that time, and even, as you said, postpartum and for breastfeeding. So that's fabulous.
Thank you.
I'll see you at a delivery soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will.